Dicho esto, vamos a intentar, si vamos bien de tiempo, al final de las ponencias, que haya una serie de preguntas, porque yo creo que a lo mejor es interesante. Si no, en supuesto de que no hubiera tiempo, esta tarde tenemos la sesión de póster, los conferenciantes van a estar aquí, no se van a ir ninguno, entonces quizá podamos aprovechar también de exprimirle, no solamente a los que están en esta mesa, sino a algunos que están todavía, no hoy aquí, pero a lo mejor actúan mañana, porque yo creo que los temas que van a salir pueden ser bastante interesantes, como para que haya gente de suficiente nivel para poder hacer discusiones que sean realmente rentables para el sector. Dicho esto, me toca ahora presentar a la segunda persona, que para mí es algo especial, puesto que no pensaba que podía haber en una mesa a personas de diferentes compañías, como son Unilever, como son Nestlé, es Nestlé, cuando lo que a nosotros, en la época de trabajo de Nestlé, pues la competencia era realmente terrible. La persona que va a venir a hablar ahora es Vincent Petiard. Él fue director durante muchos años del Centro de Biotecnología Molecular de Nestlé en Tours, en Francia, responsable, aunque no lo creáis, de todo lo que fue el inicio de la mejora genética de tomate aquí en Extremadura. Con él vinieron los proyectos de mejora genética en contacto con el profesor Stephen Tanscred de la Universidad de Cornell. Con él se empezó todo lo que fue la mejora de tomate con las diferentes especies salvajes existentes en el mundo. Y también, bueno, pues con él y con Stephen Tanscred, curiosamente él está retirado también ya de Nestlé, pero junto con Stephen Tanscred, que es uno de los padres del genoma del tomate, precisamente él es el encargado de descifrar 2 de los cromosomas de tomate, pues tiene una compañía precisamente ha creado una compañía junto que se llama Nature Source Genetics, precisamente para eso, para dar información, para ver todo lo que está relacionado con el material genético, etcétera, etcétera. Voy a ser corto porque José Luis luego me dice que hay que ser corto y conciso, pero Vincent, thank you to come to Spain. To Badajoz again, ¿no?
Thank you, Joaquín. I'm sorry I cannot speak Spanish. I have to speak English or French, obviously, but I was told that I have to speak Spanish. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry not to be capable to speak Spanish. I have to speak English or French, but I was told by my friend Joaquín that I have to speak English. So it is a great pleasure for me to come back to Badajoz. Since the first time I came into this city, it was probably in 86 or 88, and I have spent a lot of time working on tomato with good friends here in Badajoz. When Joaquín asked me to give a talk about the future of genetic improvement in tomato, I was wondering whether I have to speak for specialists and only breeders, or I have to speak to an audience which is composed from many different people and many different specialties. I will try to compromise, not to do too much science, not to go too far in depth in science, but also to give you some flavor of what is the seed industry cooking for tomato, if I may say that way. So, what I'm going to speak about is, first I would like to give you an idea of the tomato seed markets and tomatoes, let's say, seed R&D expenses. I think it's important to know that most of the R&D efforts and innovation in seed markets are now coming from private industries, and it is important to look how much the industry could spend into this direction. Then I will look at the future of processing tomato improvement, and I will speak about the trades, but not so much because I know there are people who could tell more than what I can say here. And then I will try to look mainly to the new approaches in breeding which could be applied to tomato. This is not to say that only biotechnology is capable to do some improvement in tomato. We will always need good breeders in the field to make progress in tomatoes. What I'm underlining here is that new technologies which are currently being developed for other crops are step by step moving to vegetables and moving to tomato. So, just a few words about the seed market worldwide. The total seed market worldwide is about $36 billion What does it mean if you compare to food industry, for example? This is for the all species, all seed worldwide. The total market is 1/3 of the turnover of a company like Nestlé. So it tells you where is the added value. Then if you look to the vegetable seeds, it's about $3.5 billion US, meaning it's 10% of the total seed business. Then if you go to tomato seeds, it's about $650 million, and you could say it's 20% of the vegetable seed market, or more or less 20%. What does it mean? It means that tomato is a priority for vegetable seed company. However, if you go to processing tomato seeds, it's only $65 million US, which means 10% of the tomato seed market, which means 0.2% of the total seed market. And I got this slide from friends from the Close company and Vilmorin company that tells you the distribution of the tomato seed market worldwide, and it's mainly in North America and Europe, as you could see, but China is starting to be quite important. If you make some calculation about R&D expenses, in seed industry, the R&D expenses are more or less 10 to 12% of the turnover. If you compare again to food industry, the R&D expenses in food industry are no more than 1% of the turnover. But looking to these figures, and obviously it varies from one company to another company, from one crop to another company, another crop. But if you look to these figures, it means that between 60 and 80 million US dollars are invested every year for R&D on tomato. But the largest part of that goes to fresh tomatoes. And just to give you an example, one seed, one tomato seed for indoor, meaning in glasshouse production in Holland, can be sold 80 cents of a euro for one seed. So that explains why the seed companies are focusing on fresh market, on fresh tomatoes, more than on processing tomato. And this is what you could see also when looking to the last line of this slide. This is only the R&D expenses for processing tomato in vegetable seed industry are probably about $8 million US a year. So what does it mean? It means that processing tomato seed is only 10% in value of the total tomato seed market, but it is 25% of the fruit production in volume. So again, the R&D efforts are more focused on fresh tomatoes, either for indoor production or for field production. And we will probably have to leverage genetic improvements from fresh to processing tomato. So now, I will move to the different technology we could consider for the future of tomato processing improvement, as well as for any tomato improvement. So what are the trades? I have a list here. I will not tell you this is exhaustive, but you have the main, let's say, driving factors for the seed industry. One is obviously, and you have two categories. One is what we call currently input trades, which mean trades for the growers, and what we currently call output trades, which means trades for the processors or consumers. Input